Howdy folks, it's another strength day. Specifically, it's going to be chest day today. I don't think that I have enough time to do squats, but again, the goal is to get the 1,000-pound club with bench, squat, and deadlift. So if you're trying to get stronger, stick around. If you don't want to stick around, then just go download Greg Nuckols' free training program that will be in the description below. I will also be sharing my thoughts on why you should thank someone that cheats on you. So stick around. First exercise I'm doing is close grip bench press, and I will be doing a failure set to start pretty much my 12 rep max here. And then I will follow that up with 3 sets of 8 to 10 of that 12 rep max. Okay, so it's been a while since I've done close grip bench. I severely underestimated what my 12 rep max is. I did 15 reps there, but that's all right, I'm getting the burn. I think I'll be okay. So the short, quick answer to why you should thank someone if they're cheating on you is clarity. We don't have enough clarity in our life. It's hard enough to get any sort of clarity in anything that if you can find it, even if it's something that comes from a source of pain, then that's something that you should value, in my opinion. Now, it's obviously a lot easier said than done. It sucks to get cheated on. I am fortunate enough to never have been cheated on myself. So maybe you're saying right now, get the fuck off your high horse, and you would have a point. I'm not going to argue with you on that. But I have had people that had, I've had close relationships to people that have been cheated on. And it's, so I've gotten to experience it secondhand in a sense that doesn't even really make sense, but you get my point. You get what I'm trying to say. So allow me to try and explain further, because if you just so happen to be unlucky enough, or lucky enough, according to my own opinion, to be cheated on right now, I am genuinely sorry for that. But there's never been anyone that I've known to be cheated on that hasn't gotten far enough removed from it and aren't thankful, in a sense, that they got cheated on. Given enough time, it's easy to see in hindsight because you realize that you avoided the snake in the bush that you never saw coming until it came up and bit you. But something you will hear me say a lot if you happen to stick around and watch more of my stuff is that life is short, and it's shorter than we all realize. We all know the old people in our lives that say, hey, blink and you'll be where I am. Or that's even if you're lucky. You might just die sooner. So life being so short and so quick, why the hell would you want to spend it with somebody that doesn't respect you enough to not cheat on you? And I don't think people really think about all the other issues that occur before you actually get cheated on. Sometimes there aren't signs. Sometimes you might just be with someone that's extremely good at lying and manipulating, and that's just unfortunate. But if you're with somebody like that, then that's even more of a thank you for cheating on you, because you've seriously avoided some trouble on that one. I think most relationship issues come from a lack of communication. I think that communication is probably the most important thing in a relationship, even more so than love. Because if you can just communicate with somebody well enough and they reciprocate that and they can communicate well with you and you're both open-minded, then I think that love will just come naturally with somebody like that, because that means you're both willing to work together and meet in the middle ground, and it's hard not to develop feelings for someone like that. But yeah, breakdown in communication, whether it's you don't find someone attractive anymore, or you don't like the way someone does certain things and you aren't able to get that across in a kind way. And another way to kind of look at it is, I think cheaters are cowards, huge cowards. So not only are you getting rid of a liar in your life and someone who doesn't respect you enough to be honest with you, but you're getting someone that's too scared to even come tell you that there's something wrong in the relationship. They're just a coward. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I think there are some cheaters out there that don't feel anything when they're cheating. They're just doing it because, they're lustful, or they like the thrill of it, or they get something out of it. So I think something that goes through the mind of a lot of cheaters as they're cheating is they justify it to themselves and say, oh, I care too much about that person to tell them that I'm cheating on them because I still love them, I still care about them, I still want to be with them. So it's not only are cheaters, I think lying to you, but they're lying to themselves too, because nobody wants to be cheated on. I've never talked to anyone that's like, yeah, I would much rather, have just someone sneaking around my back and cheating on me as opposed to just, coming out and telling me. Now that is anecdotal. I know there are people out there that are like that. They would rather just go on with status quo and not change things up. People are really, really scared to change. And that's fine if that's you. It's your relationship, it's your life. Who cares what I have to say? I'm just some guy on the internet sharing my opinions. But as someone that has been with the same woman for 16 years now, I would much rather no. I would, if I have a buddy that finds out or one of her friends knows about it, I would much rather them come tell me. And I've been with her long enough where everything's intertwined, finances, got a kid. It's tough. And so I'm not trying to trivialize the cheating matter, but I would still much rather know. I'll go, I love my wife, but if she were to cheat on me, I'm gonna go find somebody else that's gonna respect me. Especially since all I hear about the dating game is how awesome it is to be able to just swipe hundreds and hundreds of times and get ghosted and never be able to rely on somebody. The dating game sounds awesome, and yeah, I really, really wish that I were in it right now. No, I am sorry for any of you, especially if you're in your 30s like me, that might be having to do all that kind of stuff right now. So I have no desire to go back out and date, no interest, anything like that. I'm very happy with my life and wife, but I would still rather go play that game than, again, have somebody that's going to lie to me, that's a coward, that can't be depended on or trusted. Six, 7, 8. So here's where this workout gets a little bit interesting. I'm starting to move into some really, really high rep stuff. Everything here is supposed to be, from now on out, a 30 rep max. And it's actually supposed to involve blood flow restriction, which is something I've never done before. So I don't really have anything to tie up around my bicep because I'm doing curls next to kind of restrict blood flow. I mean, I could find something, but I don't really care that much. That sounds a little hardcore. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. I'm sure it's taken a little bit off of making the gains, but I think I'll still be able to make the gains without them. But the next thing I'm doing is, like I said, curls, and it's just curls of my choice. So I'm just gonna go do regular old dumbbell curls. I'm doing 2 sets of these, and as many as I can up to 30. And if you just so happen to be a cheater, and chances are if you're still watching at this point after all the things that I've said, I doubt there's going to be any cheaters watching this, but if you are, what are you doing? Like, come on, you don't actually care about someone that you're cheating on. Like, okay, you care about them, but come on, you know what you're doing. If you really love someone that you're cheating on, then you gotta go tell them. Gotta let them make the decision for themselves, and if they leave you, then that's the consequence that you deserve. That's what you reap for doing what you've done. Now, I really don't mean to sound like all this is trivial, because it's not. It's painful. It sucks to get cheated on big time. It destroys lives A lot of times I think the reason it destroys lives is because people just don't know how to handle it. And it's tough because if you're with someone long enough, there's no aspect of you that's not involved with them. It's physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's financial, you merge lives. So it sucks to feel like half your life just gets ripped away. Now, something else that I think is kind of like a subgenre of cheating is jealousy. Jealousy has always been something that's super weird to me, and yet it's incredibly common for people to struggle with, whether it's with themselves or with their partner. But I've always kind of viewed that the same way. It's like, why would I be jealous of someone? The more freedom that you give someone, the quicker that you're able to earn trust, and the quicker that you're able to develop a deeper relationship. Because if you're jealous and you're trying to control somebody, and say for a while that they acquiesce to that and they're allowing you to control them, then that can just be building up resentment, but you could just be hiding skeletons in a closet, metaphorically speaking. Because what if someone is a cheater and say you suppress that aspect of them, and you might be like, okay, well that's good. If I can prevent them from being a cheater, then that works for me. But again, suppressing someone that you're in a relationship with and you love is not a good thing in my opinion. But again, say 5 years goes by and you finally are like, okay, I've been with this person long enough that I don't have to feel jealous anymore. I trust them. And then it gives them those reins and they're like, okay, well now I can be free. I can experiment a little bit and do what I want to do, something that they would have done 4 years ago. And all you've done is ingrained yourself and rooted yourself even deeper into it. So it's just crazy to me. Why in the world would I ever be jealous? It just doesn't logically make sense to me. And if only logic was something that you could utilize more often in relationships, but obviously it's mostly emotional. But I tell you what, if you can let reason prevail and logic prevail a little bit and realize that the emotions aren't always your best friend, then it does make a big difference. It helps a lot in relationships, whether it's with a partner or a friendship or a parent. I've had a couple very small relationships where I've had to deal with jealousy, and man, do I hate it. It's just like this oppressive cloud over the relationship that you just feel, and it feels suffocating to me. So I don't want to experience that, and I don't want to do that to somebody else. Clarity is just so unbelievably powerful to me. If you're a religious person and happen to be lucky enough to feel like you have the answers to all the big questions out there, then that's more clarity than most people are going to get. Then that's awesome, and I truly am happy for you. As someone that was formerly a religious person, it does bring a lot of inner peace to feel like you have answers to big questions out there. But because there's so many unknowns in life, in all aspects to me, the very few times that you can actually have some clarity in something is so valuable. Everyone wants close relationships in their life, but there's so much fear of loss and fear of not being good enough that we do these things to ourselves that really prevent things from growing. The next thing I'll be doing are DB rolling tricep extensions. I have never even heard of them before until I started doing this program. So if you're like me and haven't heard of them, then just watch what I'm about to do and you'll know what they are. And we're going for the same thing here. This should be around a 30 rep max for me. So we're just doing as many as possible for 2 sets. All right, so I only did 20 of those. That's nowhere near 30 reps, obviously, but hey, I went to failure there, and failure is what I'm looking for. Something that kind of ties into this that I've been working on for the last couple of years is realizing how beneficial fear is and how stupid it is at the same time. And what I mean by beneficial is if you fear something in today's age when you don't have to worry about a tiger hiding in the bushes or the snake hiding in the bushes, then all our fears are superficial. So if you are afraid of something, there's a good chance that you just need to just run straight at that thing. Put myself on social media. That's definitely something that I would have feared 5-6 years ago because I'd be way too worried about what people think of me, which is entirely stupid because, again, if someone doesn't like me, I want to know that. If someone likes me, I want to know that, because that helps provide clarity, that helps navigate relationships. It's hard enough to navigate relationships as it is. Like I said earlier, I've been with the same woman since 2009 now, and there's still things I'm learning about her, and that's good. And it helps keep things kind of fun. Not that fun is an issue or anything like that for us, but my point with that being is even the really, really good relationships are complicated. So why would you want to spend more time and energy on the bad ones? Let things happen as they may. That way you can move on or decide, hey, this is someone that's really worth being around. Last thing I'll be doing for the day are DB chest flies. Normally I would actually do these on the ground. I don't like doing them on the bench if I were using a heavier weight, just because I've hurt my chest enough to where I don't really need to worry too much. I don't want to worry about too much overstretching and putting too much on the chest or the shoulder. So because these are lighter reps here, I'm going to use the bench. But I do recommend, if you are using heavy ones, to probably just do them on the ground. It's just safer. It's like, yeah, maybe you don't get as good of gains, but if you injure yourself and you're out for 2 months, then how's that going to help your gains? So I could have done a couple more there, but again, number one goal for me when it comes to working out is just don't get hurt. I will make progress 50% slower if it means not getting hurt. I don't care. Now this might be a super naive thing for me to believe, and maybe I just haven't had enough hardship in my life, but I do genuinely believe that no matter what happens to you, you can turn it into a positive thing. To me, it's easy to turn cheating into a positive thing, regardless of what happens to you. But even things like physical handicaps that could happen to you in your life, there are so many examples out there of people that have had that happen to them, and they just turn it into a superpower in a sense. Now, I'm not saying that it's better for you or better for them to have had experienced those things, and I haven't talked to people like that, and maybe they would much rather go back to how their life used to be if, say they lost use of their legs. They probably would much rather have their legs back, which is totally understandable. But the reason I bring that up is because kind of the underlying theme of what I'm talking about here is you don't have control over what happens to you in a lot of instances. You can't help whether or not someone cheats on you. You could have what you feel like is a really, really good relationship, and there really aren't even that many red flags. And maybe you're just with a sociopath or psychopath. I don't know. I forget whichever one of those is the one that doesn't feel anything, but you get my point. But if that's the case, and you can't control those things, then why would you even worry about it? You're just wasting your limited time and energy on something that's probably or definitely out of your control. So if someone does cheat on you, just thank them for it. Remember the good times if you had any with that person, and just move on. It opens up a new avenue. It opens up a new way of being, and you might just go on to discover that you've never had a really good relationship before until you get into the next one and you realize what you've been missing out on all along. And if you didn't know that that person was cheating on you and you stayed with them for the next 40 years, you could have just been living, instead of a 10 out of 10 life, you're living a 5 out of 10 life, and that just sucks. I'd rather live a 10 out of 10 if I can. All right, well, that's all I got for you. I sincerely appreciate you if you are still watching to this point. And I have said some controversial things throughout this video. If your opinion is different, please let me know. I would love some feedback. I'd love some hate. Like I said, I want to know those types of things so that way I can help orient my own life. And if I'm saying something that's stupid and I can't see it yet, I would much rather know that than not know that. So tell me if you agree with me. Tell me if I'm an idiot and you disagree with me, whatever. Either way, I sincerely appreciate you, and I will see you hopefully next time. See ya!